I am a notoriously slow editor. I tend to not get many projects out, but I'm going to fix that. And I think there's a couple things that I want to talk about in this video that will help me do that. And maybe you can learn from them, and maybe we'll see how they get implemented and see if I actually start making more videos and getting more output. So the first thing that I typically do is I choose presets. I made my own presets. I made my own transitions in DaVinci Resolve that are able to help me speed up my workflow. And with the shift space feature, which allows you to type out an effect and then enter it in DaVinci Resolve, is pretty cool because it allows you to search your effects library and then just automatically enter and put one in there. But I'm thinking that that's great for certain tools, but a much faster way of working might be having another timeline full of text presets, full of B-roll and backgrounds and animations and sound effects that I'm then able to copy and paste into another timeline that I'm working on, especially if something is on brand with everything else. If I have a good base in one timeline and I use the effects timeline on top of that, it's just able to speed up my workflow and have a repeatable system for creating content that looks similar to everything else. So when I have, for example, if I was to continue to make videos for my own channel, which I am, there's a certain set of text presets that have the same font, they have the same animation, they have the same sound effects even, that I'm able to just copy and paste from one timeline to another. But if it's all centralized in one space, that's even better. So I don't have to do much thinking. I just look at the markers on the top of the timeline. I can mark it out and then just like, oh, this text effects says this, copy paste. So that's what I'm planning on doing, the first thing. The second thing is working in passes. So for each marked out section of this new timeline that I'm going to build, this would be for each client too. So each client has a project. Inside that project has multiple timelines, but there's one central timeline that is that effects preset. And it has everything inside of it. So if I have a project for each of my clients and including myself, that's fantastic. And I'm able to continue to make videos on brand for each client. And I just need to build out one timeline. So working in passes basically means that you're taking one idea of like, this is today I'm right now I'm doing a rough cut. Okay, well, what does a rough cut consist of? It consists of identifying great takes, identifying terrible takes, cutting the bad ones out, making the good ones fit in, and then crafting a narrative that has a certain story flow to it. And that's a rough cut. Well, that's one mindset. You don't want to be doing rough cuts and pacing and the music and sound effects and animations all in like the same sequence. You're like, you're cutting it up, music, sound effects, text, color grade. Move on to the next section. Music, sound effects, text, color. Like, I used to do that in iMovie. I used to do that. What passes are is you do one sweep across your timeline. Rough cut. Great. It's good. Don't rewatch it. I'm terrible at doing that. Don't rewatch it. I rewatch my footage all the time. Don't rewatch it. Another pass. Pacing. Okay, add J cuts and L cuts. Make the timing of the words good. So like you're actually making them sound like a professional speaker in the way that they pace themselves. You're adding that. Then you add music. Add the music underneath it. Make sure the music is synced up with the pacing. Great. Now you add B-roll and sound effects and text, and you do a pass for each one. So with this effects timeline that I'm building, the effects timeline is you're then able to choose which pass am I working through. Oh, I'm working through my text pass. I have an entire section of that timeline dedicated to text. So then you're able to just copy and paste there, and it's great. The workflows sync up. one thing that I'm going to cut out doing is I used to mark my timeline before I even add any effects. So what this means is after I do my pacing pass, I would go through, and music typically, I would go through and add markers to the top of my timeline. This is where I want to add some text. This is where I want to add some zooms. This is where I want to add some B-roll. And then it's just me wasting time thinking about what I'm about to do before I even do it. And it's so dumb because I was talking back and forth with AI, and that's another point I'm about to make. Talking about back and forth with AI, and it was telling me, hey, you don't need this timeline pass of doing marking. You don't need to mark out and think through your video before you even make it. Like, go through the way of thinking of only text. Where am I going to put my text? And then just copy and paste the text from the other timeline into that spot. Don't just like think about what you're about to do. Just do it. Just get in the mindset of doing it. Go through that pass. Go through the B-roll pass. Go through the animations pass. And just do it. Like, don't just think about doing it. Do it. And so it would like save me legitimately like 20 minutes of my workflow. Instead of thinking through every animation and text effect that I'm about to put on my timeline, I can just go and start doing it. And the last point I'm about to make is the AI. How do you get AI to actually coach you on your workflow? Well, I think the way that I'm going to do it is lay out everything that I'm doing inside of like an SOP kind of format, standard operating procedure. How do you think about your editing? How do you think about your editing? Do you think about it in a sense of, if I was to write out what I do and give it to an employee and have them do that same thing, would the stuff that they're doing even be worth doing? Like, would it be something that I would want myself doing? If not, you can probably cut it out. One of the mindsets that I need to get better at doing is get better at thinking about, that is getting in the mindset of I can coach myself. If I just take a third person perspective on this particular issue or this idea I'm wrestling through, if I legitimately took a step back and looked at my life and thought about what kind of things should I and should I not be doing, we're much better at giving advice to other people than we are ourselves. And so if you can legitimately give yourself some advice on how you can edit, especially me, like coming from a guy who's been editing for 5 years, knows a little bit of stuff and is trying to teach it on YouTube, I need to take my own advice sometimes. And it's convicting, and it's a really humbling moment, because it's just so much better when you realize, oh, I have a lot more to learn. I can actually benefit from my own advice. So those are the things. Learning how to edit from another timeline, working in passes, and having AI coach you on everything that you're doing. Write it out and tell me, like, if you were Steve Jobs or if you were Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, and you looked at this SOP and this is the result that I wanted to get. I want these kinds of videos. I want this kind of branding. I want this kind, and just articulate yourself to the AI and tell it, where do I need to cut things out and what do I need to maximize? What do I need to actually focus on? And then just do that. You can test it out. You can go through the iteration process with it and just bounce ideas. What's the highest leverage activity that I can be doing? What is actually worth doing? And then just do that. So hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Check out this video if you want to keep watching, but I'll see you guys in the next one. God bless.